14. There are 3 bills. In addition to these 3 bills, we also have concurrences immediately following them. So we'll start with House Bill 1189.
House Bill 1189, the Economic Matters Committee is secondary on this bill. HCO is primary, and they voted it out favorable with amendments unanimously by all present. This bill establishes a Cyber Maryland program in the Maryland Technology Development Corporation to create a talent pipeline in cybersecurity, serve as a hub for state workforce development programs in cybersecurity, and generally coordinate cybersecurity and research and innovation in the state. There's an amendment in your packet. Both of the amendments you see are the same. One is just a finalized committee amendment. The first amendment is technical, and the second one adds for-profit corporations to the list of entities authorized to receive grant funding, authorizes rather than requires the governor to include an appropriation of $250,000 for the fund, and specifies that the fund shall be used for the U.S. Department of Commerce talent pipeline management approach only to the extent there is funding.
The amendment has been moved, properly second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the bill's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, Delegate Chi. Aye. Delegate Harrison. Delegate Boffo. Delegate Howard. Delegate Charkoudian. Delegate Rose. Delegate Peruski. Delegate Fennell. Delegate Turner. Yes. Delegate Sample Hughes is excused. Delegate Valderrama. Delegate Frazier Hidalgo. Aye. Delegate Adams. Delegate Aarons is excused. Delegate Pippy. Delegate Jackson. Delegate Johnson. Delegate Rogers. Delegate Ampery. Delegate Weibel. Delegate Fisher. Delegate Queen. Bill, Vice Chair votes aye. Bill Pat. The chair is excused. All right, Senate Bill 801. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Senate Bill 801 is the cross-file to House Bill 1189 that you just voted, and the amendment in your packet conforms it to the House bill as you just voted it.
The amendment has been moved, properly seconded. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Bill has been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Delegate Chi. Aye. Delegate Harrison. Delegate Boffo. Delegate Howard. Delegate Charkoudian. Delegate Rose. Delegate Peruski. Yes. Delegate Fennell. Delegate Turner. Yes. Delegate Sample Hughes is excused. Delegate Valderrama. Delegate Frazier Hidalgo. Aye. Delegate Adams. Delegate Aarons is excused. Delegate Pippy. Delegate Jackson. Delegate Johnson. Delegate Rogers. Delegate Ampery. Delegate Weibel. Delegate Fisher. Delegate Queen. Bill moves favorable with amendment. Yep, sorry, the Vice Chair votes aye, and the Chair is excused. Next, Senate Bill 591.
The next bill is Senate Bill 591. We started discussions yesterday during voting regarding this. It alters the amount that an employee must earn in order for a non-compete or conflict of interest provision in an employment contract to be permissible under state law. There are no amendments.
The bill has been moved favorable, properly seconded. Any discussion?
SB 328, which we passed.
I'm sorry. So what the bill does is it increases the amount of...
Or maybe more or less, why do we need this?
that would be a great question for the sponsor. Unfortunately, I'm not privy to why they put it in. So...
And correct me if I'm wrong, there's no cross-file, right?
No, there's no cross-file to this bill.
So what does it do then?
It increases the amount that an employee may earn in order for a non-compete or a conflict of interest provision in an employment contract to be permissible under state law. The current earnings threshold is more than $15 per hour, or $31,200 annually. Under this bill, the threshold is more than 150% of the state minimum wage.
Delegate Chi.
I just want to point out it passed the Senate, both the committee and the Finance Committee and the Senate chamber unanimously. Yeah.
sorry. Delegate Queen, are you good?
I guess. Go ahead.
Delegate Charcudian.
I think that it's my understanding that what happened is we set the non-compete. The original bill a couple of years ago came in non-compete for a much higher wage level. Then the compromise happened and it set it at what is essentially about to be minimum wage or below. So now that we're raising the minimum wage, we have to update the non-compete so it's the equivalent of what the intention had been when we passed the non-compete a couple of years ago. Is that? Sorry? To 150% of the minimum wage.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Thank you for explaining.
Good. Delegate Adams.
I think the question I wanted was answered about what did the Senate do with it?
Okay. See no other Delegate Pippi.
So just for clarification, so there's a prohibition on having a non-compete if you're, so current law, this is a new bill, right, to change the law, but current law is $15, right? So you have to be above $15 an hour in order to have a non-compete, is that correct?
Yes, you have to make more than $15 an hour or $31,200 annually.
To have a non-compete.
Yes.
So this is for an employer to enforce a non-compete. The employee has to be paid currently under law more than $15 an hour.
Yes.
So another way to look at that is if, let me think about this here for a second. So we're changing that number to $22.50 because we got a law that just passed, the $15 minimum wage, which is about $50,000 or $46,000 a year or something like that. I think if you
45 and some change, yeah.
stretch that out. So now, if you are an employee, if you're an employer and you pay someone less than $46,000 and change a year, they cannot have a non-compete. Is that right?
That's correct. They're
Correct.
not subject to they can't have a non-compete, yeah.
Cannot have a non-compete. Okay, so we are essentially, just for my edification, we are broadening the amount of employees that cannot have non-competes. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way. to
Thank
think.
you.
All right. Seeing nothing else, I will just state, Delegate Howard, I know we held a bill for a potential amendment. You're going to work with the bill sponsor and the chair over in the Senate, and I will talk to the chair on my end, and if we come to some sort of an agreement, we can take it on the floor. Okay? All right. The bill has been properly moved and seconded. Delegate Chi. Delegate Harrison. Delegate Boffo. Delegate Howard. Delegate Charcudian. Delegate Rose. Delegate Pruski. Delegate Fennell. Delegate Turner. Delegate Sample Hughes is excused. Delegate Valderrama. Delegate Fraser Hidalgo. Delegate Adams. Delegate Aarons is excused. Delegate Pippi. Delegate Jackson. Delegate Johnson. Delegate Rogers. Delegate Ampry. Delegate Weibel. Delegate Fisher. Delegate Queen. The vice chair votes aye. The chair is excused. Bill moves favorable. All right, now we have the concurrences. HB 72.
Yes, HB 72's business regulation, charitable organizations. The Senate amendments conform the House bill to the Senate bill, and they are identical now. The Senate amendments clarify that to qualify for a certain exemption, a charitable organization must primarily solicit in-kind contributions and have cash receipts from contributions not exceeding $300,000.
All right. We've moved to concur.
Move to concur.
It's moved to concur, sorry. Okay. There's been a motion to concur and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, we concur. House Bill 140.
House Bill 140 is the Unemployment Insurance Recovery of Benefits Limitations and Methods. The Senate amendment modifies the effective date, which conforms it to the Senate bill as we voted it out of this committee.
Nope, move to concur. Okay, there's been motion to concur and seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? We've concurred. House Bill 463.
House Bill 463 is the sunset extension for the State Board of Architects. The Senate amendment modifies the effective date to conform it to Senate Bill 713 as we pass it out of this committee.
All right, there's a motion to concur and properly seconded. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? We've concurred. House Bill 548.
House Bill 548, the Maryland Community Investment Venture Fund establishment. The Senate amendments conform the House bill to the Senate bill. And there's one technical amendment that alters a cross-reference.
Move to concur. All right, proper motion to concur and properly seconded. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? The House concurs. House Bill 922.
House Bill 922 is Economic Development, Program Participation, Cannabis Business Establishments. The Senate amendments conform the House bill to the Senate bill and makes them identical. Specifically, they clarify that if a business entity was denied a program benefit from the Department of Commerce solely because the business was a cannabis business, the business can reapply for the program or the benefit.
The motion is to concur and properly seconded. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? And the House concurs. That concludes this voting list. I want to thank everybody, and I'll see you on the floor at 1:30.